Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna be real with you. I really do not like taxes. And I know a lot of y'all can relate with this, but as a typical hardworking citizen and everything, is that the tax system kind of sucks. And it did take me a long time when I was younger to realize that, yes, paying fucking taxes is just booty. Like when I was a kid and everything, I remember like winning like lottery tickets and everything with my dad because my dad would give me lottery tickets for me to scratch off and everything. And I would really scratch off like the $1, $2 ones because he really liked buying lottery tickets. And I remember learning about taxes because when I scratched off a lottery ticket and everything, that boom, I won like $100 one time from my dad, and my dad didn't get the $100, but he did teach me a lesson saying that not always you'll always get the money back that you receive. And I was very confused because it said, well, I won $100. And he was kind of teaching me how taxes work in a very genuine way. At first, all I heard was, oh, the term taxes. And that was it. Like I didn't think much of it because as kids, we don't really think much of everything. We just kind of go with the flow and be like, oh, this is kind of normal. But in reality, man, they really be taking a bunch of your money for no fucking reason, it feels like. And my dad did pull the classic, oh, the taxes were for the roads and for the public schools and shit. But in reality, are they really? And looking back, it was kind of naive of me to think about stuff like that. But you know what? It was kind of funny. I definitely do remember also learning about taxes because I also got this bottle caps of soda, right? And you could get like a cap on top of like a Sunkist or something. And if you opened it up, because my dad would buy me these, because it was a fun childhood I had. And you look on the bottom and you see if you want a free soda or not. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that, but I remember as a kid, if I won a free soda, I remember it being a huge fucking deal. So my dad and I and all of us were excited. Like, hell yeah, let's go get a free soda, right? At the gas station. So we all went to the gas station to get a free soda, and then that's when I realized and learned that I had to pay money still for my free soda, and I was like, even though it was like a whopping 8 cents, I was like, why do I have to still pay for something if I already got a free soda? And that's also when I learned about taxes and shit. I'm just like, thought it was a little BS a little bit. That was my first childhood innocence, kind of realizing a little bit like how BS it was. Because when you're a kid, man, money like $10 was a lot as a kid. So 8 cents was like a lot too because you didn't have 8 cents. So my dad obviously chipped in. But then I was just so fucking confused for a while. But I kind of let it slide until I got older and when I started working. Now, when I started working at first, man, like I was an NPC for the most part with this shit. Like I didn't question the system for a long time because unfortunately my parents were the type to really tell me to trust the government. They're here to help us and shit, but honestly, they're really not, to be honest. But that'll be another video for another day. And it's really crazy because I remember like working so hard at my first job, like 25 hours, because when you work at your first job, man, it feels like a 4 hour shift, 5 hour shift a day feels like a lot of work on your body because you're not used to it. But I remember getting my first paycheck and it was like a whopping like $179 for like over 20 hours, 40 hours, like 20 to 40 hours of work. Like I'm pretty sure it was 20 hours in a pay period, and it was super part time. But I was like really stunned, and I knew it was bad when my mom, because she worked for a while, looked at my check and was super shocked of how fucking screwed I got over. And she felt so bad that she actually gave me extra money just because she thought I got robbed so hard. And looking back, man, I definitely get fucked over pretty bad at that job, bro. Being 18, by the way, is kind of crazy in a way because you expect to be an adult at times by your parents, but at the same time, you're still treated like a kid by everybody else. And it's still kind of like that in your early 20s a little bit. But now I'm still kind of, just because the way I look kind of young for my age, I guess. For some reasons, I still get treated like a kid. Or some people even on here will hear me talk and say I sound like a kid still. But like, bro, I don't know. I don't fucking care. But I don't know, man. I guess having a certain demeanor seems innocent to some people. But it's kind of sad that a positive demeanor too means that you might be perceived as younger because the average older guy like is negative, unfortunately. But another lesson I've learned with the tax system is when I finally worked overtime. Because when I was younger, man, even at 21, for some odd reason, I was extremely stingy about working overtime. Because, I was kind of a baby about it looking back a little bit. Because my work ethic was not as good back then. Because I would work just to 40 and go home. Because, I wanted to work on my YouTube channel and shit. Because I didn't want to just, slave all my hours to a company without working on my channel. Because I would be too tired. Looking back, I was kind of in the right direction, realizing what I wanted. But when I finally worked overtime at my warehouse job and everything, when I was like 24, 25-ish, around, I think it was 25, I was working a lot of overtime during peak season and everything because I just didn't work a lot of overtime at all because I would work two jobs most of the time, part-time as well. And when I worked that overtime, I realized after working a crazy amount of hours, like, oh, I got a big $1,000 check in a week. I thought it was huge. But then I look at the gross pay and I realize, holy fucking shit, man. Like, I realize how much they really take out because it's sad. The more you earn, the more they take out. And I remember I was like on pace for like almost $2,000 on my paycheck, and I only got, barely a grand. And I was like, it was still a lot. I was like stunned. I was like, I got fucking robbed a lot with a lot of my work. And then if you do the math every year and stuff, because I realized one of my buddies was in the trades and everything making $100K a year. And I did the math and everything, and I also did the ADP hourly calculator, which is a very useful tool to kind of calculate your hourly wages for anything. I did that with overtime for him and shit, and I found out like he was making not even like barely 60K to 55K a year after taxes, and I was like stunned. I was like, holy shit, man, he's getting fucked over so hard. Most of these people are not even making that much after all the overtime and taxes. It's terrible, man, because I feel bad for everybody that works so hard trying to provide for their families and shit. And then at the end of the day, man, they're barely making maybe a little bit more than half of what they should be getting. It's really sad, man, because it does feel like a huge giant scam by the government, and there's really nothing much we could really do about it, unfortunately, unless, you want to do the 1099 route, but then again, you gotta be fucking hauling your ass and running away from the fucking government. But I will say, if you can find a way to get money, like, under the table somehow, or you just get money, like, the actual hard cash and stuff, you may not even have to report that to the government, because there's some people that will do that in the trades. Like, I have a buddy who just gets copper and shit, and that's about it from the trades, because they give him extra scrap wire. And they give him hard cash, and he calls it a day, man. And they were supposed to technically report it, but fuck it, dude. If it's not on the fucking system at all, it's all hard cash. Why even report that shit? If that were my younger self, I'd be like, oh, dude, he's being a terrible human being and everything. But now I'm just like, yeah, I understand now, because that is pretty terrible that we have to literally hide from the government just to get our honest hard cash and living that we should be getting the whole time. But I will say this, if you guys do want to work a little bit of overtime, because I've learned the overtime brackets pretty well now, like a certain overtime bracket will go up once, like, the regular one for the first 10 hours, and then after 10 hours, another bracket goes up. If you guys want to work honest overtime and get the bang out of your buck without completely getting scammed entirely, I do recommend working like 45 to 50-ish hours around there. That's when you kind of get your decent amount of overtime, but you're not enough where it's killing your body and you're getting barely anything after taxes. Because I remember working like 60 hours, 65 hours after the 50-hour mark and realizing that I was only making like maybe $200 more after taxes after they take everything out. So at the end of the day, man, it just was a giant waste of time. It was terrible. Anyways, everybody, what's your guys' thoughts about taxes in the tax system? Do you guys love taxes, or do you hate paying for the taxes and shit? But the only thing I do like about taxes is that we do file for taxes at the end of the year, but we don't even get all of our money that we deserve back. And it is kind of crazy and horseshit that a lot of parents will get a lot more for their kids and stuff, even if they didn't work that much, which is kind of wild, because I wish they'd be getting everybody like $8,000 a year for the hardworking citizens that even don't have kids, because man, the government really does hate single people. Like, when you're filed single and not married, dude, you get fucked over the most on taxes, and I think we can all agree with that. I wouldn't even be surprised if people were only getting together and settling in a marriage that they weren't happy in just to have those tax benefits, because it does make a little bit more sense to me why so many people get married and it's a toxic marriage and they just don't leave in a way, because I get that, man. It kind of changes your whole world when you kind of get used to living a certain way. Anyways, that's all I gotta say about this topic. I'm gonna head out because today is my birthday, and I'm gonna go head to Dave & Buster's with some friends and everything, like I said, and have some fun. I'm super excited too because my girlfriend also surprised me with some nice gifts and candles and everything, and some mint Oreos. I gotta say, man, those are fucking bomb. I recommend getting those if you guys haven't tried them. I'll catch you guys later, and peace out.